Hi and welcome to Tech Tips with me, Marcus Bornold. Today I will be checking out the OSEE LCM-215HDR Plus field recording monitor, using it as my grading monitor right here. So if we go into DaVinci right here, and we can see that the image is very comparable with my Asus ProArt that I use daily to grade with. And we also need to check the color space we are in. So we go down to this toggle right here, color management, and go into the menu, and we can go down and we see that the gamma is at 2.4. This is the gamma for Rec 709. And we could toggle between different color space. So we do have Rec 709, of course, and we have Rec 2020, which is the upcoming standard. And we have P3 and some other options. P3 is the Netflix standard right now. So we go back to Rec 709, which is where I use the grade, which is the standard for broadcasts right now as well. And we go back, and we could also, as we are at the monitor, also check the difference between the vector scope from DaVinci's vector scope and the monitors. So if I press P3 here, we see that I see the luminance in the monitor's vector scope, but I also see the chroma and the gamma and in the vector scope of DaVinci. And it also has some other scopes as well. It has an histogram and it has false colors, which we'll check out later when we use it as an actual field recording monitor with the Pocket 6K Pro. And we have a waveform as well. We can toggle between regular waveform or with colors or as a parade. I really like this monitor as it is, and it's very comparable with my daily driver, the Asus ProArt.
All right, guys, so we're here in the production suite, and I'm sitting here with the OSEE monitor. I also have a JVC monitor and a Sony monitor doing the same thing. But this is our camera control remotes. We have our camera control units back in the rack where we have the actual brain of the camera. But these are the ones that control color and IRE, which is Institute of Radio Engineers is the scale called. It goes from 0 to 100, or at least that's what you should stay within. So that's why we have the scopes here. They all have the same scopes, but the OSEE can actually have 3 scopes at the same time. The JVC monitor here has to switch scopes. So if I press scope, then I have the vector scope or the waveform. So we're going to just do a quick white balance here on the screen. This is our studio downstairs. There's nobody in it at the moment. But you've seen our previous video about how to do the proper white balance, I hope. Otherwise, you should check that video out. But I can just switch to a white camera. There's the white camera. So what I do first is the black balance, which is lowering all the light and then setting the point in the middle here on the vector scope to the center. That means that it is as white or black as possible. It says here it's blue, red, and green, and yellow, magenta, and cyan. So if it pulls one direction, you know that's the color that it's pulling towards. So I'm just going to pull down the light levels here, and you can see them going down. This one didn't go down all the way, so if I pull my wheel, I set the black to black. You want to be slightly above 0, as we said in our previous video, because you don't want true black, because then everything will be crushed. And that's no fun. So we're going to increase that a little bit. And you can see here that the dot is slightly to the left towards the yellow. So if I pull my black balance knobs here, I'll pull it slightly to the right. And that's going to be centered there. If I toss up the scope on the other one, that says the same thing. So they're calibrated. It's the same as the expensive monitors, since the OSEE costs quite a lot less, but still has the same functions. So there we go. So centered, slightly above 0, and we're going to increase the light level. We don't want to go all the way up to 100, because that's just going to be overexposed. We're going to pull it down to be slightly underneath. Where are we there? Somewhere around there. So check on the other scope here as well. They're calibrated to the same, so that's nice. So here you have knobs that's showing black balance and white balance. So right now I can see that this is also pulling towards the yellow. So I'm gonna add blue because blue is on the right side of the scope. And if I wanted to move it, the dot this way, going towards the red. So I'm gonna add a little bit of blue. Here we go, a little bit less red, and my dot centered. So that's a quick white balance you can do on the screen. It's very handy to have all of the scopes up at the same time, since I set them up on my little, what do you call it? Quick button, so I can just remove them again. Off, and histogram, off. So now I have my full screen, back again. So if I just, during the broadcast, only want to have my waveform on, I can just have that, not be too distracted with all of the scopes up at the same time. So that's really nice that you can pick and choose where to have them. Of course, you can always set the size too if you want it bigger or smaller, but I like it small and handy so it doesn't distract from the actual picture. If I put something with color on, like so. No, it's not a good picture. Let's do maybe that camera. So here in the histogram you can see where the different colors are. So the purple will pull it down naturally. So this follows the screen where on the screen you are. So you can see where the highlights or the low parts would be. This would be camera 1, so I can increase the lights. Just like right as it goes. Gain it up one stop. There you go. There you have it. If I activate my vector scope again, you can see it pulls a lot towards the blue, and that's this blue part here. So that's why you have to use the actual white to white balance. Otherwise, you have all the colors, and you can't. Otherwise, everything's going to be gray if you take away all the colors. So that's why you white balance on white, and you black balance on black. Oh yeah. Over to the next test, guys.
So we are back, and now I have plugged in the monitor into an Pocket 6K Pro, and we right now have the fault scars on the monitor. So if I toggle the iris here, we can see that it changes, and we can also turn on the Blackmagic's fault colors to see the difference between those two. So we see that the green is more pronounced in the Blackmagic, and the blues are more smeared out in the monitor. I think it's very usable anyway. So if we go over to Focus Assist, we now have Focus Assist on. So if we go from the mixer and go to the first action cam and then to the next action cam, we see that it works really, really well. And I right now have the level set to 11, and I have aperture 2.8 on this cropped sensor Pocket 6K Pro. We have plugged in the HDMI to the Pocket camera, and we have an SD coming from a broadcast camera. And you also have the options to use video in if you use a camera that doesn't have SD or HDI or a more consumer camera. Right now we are in the studio, so we use AC to power the camera, but you could also use a battery to power it as well. I think this is a really good monitor that is suited for both grading and doing field recording, as is most made for. But all the tools as well is very, very handy and very good. And I really like this monitor, and it's very nice to have all the 1500 nits as well if you are outside. So that's it for this video. I hope you like and subscribe, and see you in the next one. Bye.